And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Rasta Report here on Alibi Radio, Alibi TV, here on livinginblack.com. My name is Kidiobi Awadu. Kidiobi Awadu is my name. Weekday mornings, you and I get together live. We come in from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern Time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East Africa Time. We get together with you, and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives. We deal with entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family, conflict, future studies, Pan-African affairs, all areas of human interactivity and development. Today's date is Monday. It is the 24th day of November, the year 2025 in the Western Gregorian calendar. This corresponds to the year 6265 according to the calendar of ancient Kemet, to which we have realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on Alibi Radio, Alibi TV, here on livinginblack.com. Hey, I think we're up to a good start for today. We have a very, very important topic. I touched on this topic just about maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And I'm going even deeper into it as I learn more and more about this process known as autophagy. Autophagy. Some people pronounce it autophagy, but it's actually autophagy with the emphasize the second syllable, autophagy. It's a very important topic. Let me give you this introduction for today's broadcast, which is turning on autophagy for a healthy lifespan. And let's take this right here. Wait a minute. I just need to. Here we go. We're right here. Welcome to the Conscious Rasta Report, where we explore the many complex facets of natural health. Today, we return to the topic of autophagy, your body's natural self-cleaning mechanism. Discover how this Nobel Prize-winning process helps remove damaged cells, fights aging, and promotes longevity through evidence-based strategies, including fasting, exercise, nutrition, and much, much more. We will show you practical ways to activate autophagy and optimize your healthy lifespan. Join us on this journey to cellular rejuvenation and learn how to add 10 to 15 years to your longevity. And that is a pretty impressive process, if you were to ask me. So we're returning to turning on off autophagy for today's topic. What I'm going to do right now, right off the bat, I'm going to put up a little short video that I have on this subject. I thought I had put it up already, but here it is. Short video we're going to put up on this subject of autophagy. And bear with me right now. It's going to take me a minute to put it up. And I hope you do enjoy what you are listening to today. I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, and say greetings to my sister joining us from the barren rock, as she calls it, joining us from the UK. My sister Shingai, Africa 4, Africa 1 is in the house. It's a pleasure to have you in the house. She writes, Hotep, Brother Kiti, and global LIB family. So she sends her greetings out to each and every one of you. I would hope that you would all honor her by greeting for Africa 1. And if you are wherever you're listening from, we want to know that you are in the house. So I'm going to share this short piece of video, and it is coming up right now. Here we go. This is Nobel Prize winner reveals, well, you tell me what he reveals.
What if I told you that hidden inside your body right now is a microscopic army of cellular janitors working tirelessly to repair damage, burn fat, and literally eat cancer cells before they can harm you? This isn't science fiction. It's a revolutionary discovery that won 5 Japanese scientists the Nobel Prize and completely changed how we understand human health. Yet, 99% of people have no idea this system even exists, let alone how to activate it. The most shocking part? You've been accidentally sabotaging this incredible healing mechanism every single day through simple habits that seem completely harmless. Dr. Yoshinori Osumi's groundbreaking research revealed that when you unlock this process called autophagy, what if I told you that hidden inside your body right now is a microscopic army of cellular janitors working tirelessly to repair damage, burn fat, and literally eat cancer cells before they can harm you? This is
All right. There is the idea there, and I just presented that. Nobel Prize winning research. And I think that's very, very critical. It involved a group of Japanese researchers, but the name, of course, attributed to that is Dr. Let me get his name correct here. I don't want to mispronounce it. That's Dr. Where is it? Yoshinori Osumi. So let's talk about that Nobel Prize. And I do have the press release for that Nobel Prize up on my desktop. And I'm going to just share with you real quickly the press release regarding that. It is Nobel Prize in Medicine or Physiology 2016. Now I have this up on my desktop. I'm just going to read from it. The Nobel Assembly at Karolinska Institute has today decided to award the 2016 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine to Yoshinori Osumi for his discoveries of mechanisms for autophagy. In a brief summary, it writes, this year's Nobel laureate discovered and elucidated mechanisms underlying autophagy, a fundamental process for degrading and recycling cellular components. The word autophagy originates from the Greek words auto, meaning self, and phagion, meaning to eat. Thus, autophagy denotes, quote, self-eating, unquote. This concept emerged during the 1960s when researchers first observed that the cell could destroy its own contents by enclosing it in membranes, forming sac-like vesicles that were transported to a recycling compartment called the lysosome for degradation. Difficulties in studying the phenomenon meant that little was known until, in a series of brilliant experiments in the early 1990s, Yoshinori Osumi used baker's yeast to identify genes essential for autophagy. He then went on to elucidate the underlying mechanisms for autophagy in yeast and show that similar sophisticated machinery is used in our human cells. Osumi's discoveries led to a new paradigm in our understanding of how the cell recycles its content. His discoveries opened the path to understanding the fundamental importance of autophagy in many physiological responses and processes, such as in the adaptation to starvation or response to infection. Mutations in autophagy genes can cause disease, and the autophagic process is involved in several conditions, including cancer and neurological disease. Now, there's more to that. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share that press release for those of you who wish to continue to do these studies. Let me hear. I'm going to put it up on the Rumble page. And I hope you will join us for today's conversation. I'm going to put it up on my YouTube page. And I'm also going to put it up on Facebook. If you don't mind, please, please, please do take this research very seriously. And I'm also going to put up the short piece of video that I did a little bit earlier. And that was very important as well. So bear with me as I put these links up and invite you to do what I do. Become a researcher. You know, I was thinking this morning, I would love to have someone on with me on a regular basis. In fact, tomorrow I will be joined by your brother, my brother, our brother, Dr. Amasis Ma'at, as we use tomorrow to honor one of the great ones who has lived in our generation, is going to come on tomorrow and share his life story with all of us. And you do not want to miss this story for tomorrow. It is a tragic story, as it is also a very triumphant history of an individual who Dr. Amasis Ma'at and I have both come to love, honor, and respect. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But you do not want to miss tomorrow's broadcast. That's Tuesday, November the 25th. Be with us as we honor Dr. Umshu. Going forward for today's broadcast, today is Monday, the 24th. I'm going to go back into this particular document. And I did read the summary from that. So here's today's classroom. Bear with me as I do not slurp. I hope you don't mind me giving that little afterwards. It was wonderful, is wonderful, my morning tea, which is designed to turn on autophagy. My tea right now, as you and I speak, I am turning on autophagy. And by the time we finish today's program, you're going to understand, wow, I could have been doing that all along. Yeah, you could be doing this as well. Let's go into today's research into further depth. Turning on autophagy. Is there a link? I asked this of my inquiries, various inquiries. Is there a link between autophagy and longevity? On average, if a person actively develops multiple strategies to activate autophagy, how many years could they, on average, add to a healthy lifespan? So that begins the inquiry. Is there a link? Autophagy and longevity? How many years? The various engines returned the following. There is a strong, scientifically supported link between autophagy and longevity, with multiple lines of evidence showing that strategies to stimulate autophagy can extend both lifespan and health span, at least in animal models, and in certain human cell correlates. So, going forward, let's inquire. Autophagy's role in longevity. Autophagy is a cellular process that clears damaged components and helps maintain cellular health, which is crucial for aging prevention. Research shows that increased autophagic activity mitigates age-associated processes such as chronic inflammation, cellular damage, and metabolic decline, contributing to a longer health span. Evidence for lifespan extension, point 1. Nutritional, e.g. caloric restriction. Pharmacological, example given spermidine and rapamycin. And we will be talking about mTOR today, which is mechanistic tolerance of rapamycin. I think that's it. We'll get it in today. And genetic manipulations that extend life in model organisms, such as nematodes, fruit flies, and mice, almost always do so by increasing autophagy levels. Now, again, when we're talking about these model organisms, they use nematodes, they use fruit flies, they use mice, they use yeast in the case of the Nobel Prize-winning experiments, because quite simply, this type of experimentation on humans, if it's experimentation, it's not supposed to be allowed. Although one can say by life's experiences, by examining those life experiences, I can testify to what this is all about, and you can testify as well. Point 2. Animal studies have shown that direct activation of autophagy, such as overexpressing autophagy-related genes, can increase average lifespan by approximately 17% in mice, which if extrapolated would suggest a possible increase of over a decade in human terms, though this estimate remains speculative for humans, and for good reason. Point 3, dealing again with life expectancy. Human studies in families with exceptional longevity, centenarians, reveal that their immune cells maintain higher levels of autophagy, correlating with improved cellular function and slower aging processes. And that the beautiful thing about it is you don't have to wait and examine your genes to see if you're going to be the benefit. You control the key. I'm going to give you the key to the best of my abilities today. Next, average human lifespan increase, estimates and limitations. While direct human data is limited, extrapolation from animal models suggests that multi-pronged autophagy activation could potentially add 10 to 15 healthy years if sustained and combined with optimal lifestyle factors. Very important point. Point 2, interventions like caloric restriction, fasting, exercise, and autophagy-inducing compounds may help preserve autophagy with age, but the magnitude of their effect in humans likely varies depending on adherence, genetics, and starting health. So that means adherence, meaning you come up with these strategies and you're very strict. You do them every day at the appointed time for a long time. It says genetics, which happens to be what is in my genes. And again, I have no control over that, except for the epigenetic control that I have learned about. And 3, starting health. When do you start to focus on your autophagy? When do you start? I can ask you for Africa One. She says, oh, I started at least 30 years ago or so. I personally started working in this factor beyond the genetics. I was, of course, born with the genetics. But the genetics of longevity were not necessarily so good in my life. My mother died at a very young age, and my father died of a heart disease in his late mid 60s. So that's not very good. I've actually now outlived my own father. Praise be his eternal name. But how long do you plan to live? Let me ask that question. I know I've asked it before. How long do you plan? Plan is the key word to live. Putting that question up for my YouTube family as well. Putting it up on Rumble and YouTube. I see you in the house, but you have not yet checked in. I would love it if you would check in as well. We'd love to hear from you. Your opinion does matter. And to the very best of our ability, we're going to do what we can do to live long, to love strong, and of course, to be as prosperous as possible in that longevity. So I did ask the question, and hopefully I will get a response from all of you who are tuning in with us today. We are talking about turning on autophagy for the process of longevity. So going forward, this other point, aggressive autophagy stimulation can be harmful. So appropriate, balanced activation is necessary. And I would say yes, it can be harmful. We have to know our limits and don't push it beyond those limits. Conclusion. Autophagy is a fundamental mediator in many validated anti-aging strategies, and preventing its age-related decline is a promising avenue for healthy lifespan extension. While adding 10 to 15 years of healthy life is plausible, estimate based on animal models, direct human evidence is still emerging, and individual responses may and probably will differ because there just are so many aspects to autophagy activation. I have at least 30 of them in my lifespan extension Excel model that I built. And I will share a little bit of that with you today because I did add the autophagy activation lifestyle to my life extension model. And it says between 10 and 15. So I take the median number, which is 12.5 years added to longevity, even though it overlaps with a lot of other things on my list, which means I'm going to get the full 15. How much life expectancy did caloric restriction show in primate studies? Just caloric restriction. In primate studies, the effect of caloric restriction, CR, on lifespan have shown mixed but generally positive results, depending on the species and study design. A recent long-term study with gray mouse lemurs reported a striking increase in median lifespan of about 50% from 6.4 years to 9.6 years, with several caloric restriction animals living past 11 years, while none of the controls did. These animals were maintained on a diet with 30% fewer calories than controls. In Reese's monkeys, I should say, not Reese's Pieces, Reese's candy. No, we're not going to eat these monkeys. In Reese's monkeys, 2 landmark studies produced divergent results. The University of Michigan study found that caloric restriction significantly improved survival and reduced mortality from age-related diseases. Monkeys on the CR diet lived longer than controls with improved health markers and delayed onset of diseases such as cancer and diabetes. However, the National Institute on Aging, NIA study, did not find a statistically significant extension in overall lifespan. Differences in study design, baseline health, and feeding protocols likely contributed to this discrepancy. And let's just be real clear, based upon extensive knowledge and research about the National Institute on Aging as a U.S. government agency, I have nothing kind to say about them at all. In fact, I would venture to say that if they found against all trends of research on caloric restriction in human aging and disease and metabolic disorders and all, if they found no difference, them cats are lying. They're covering it up. Or I don't think the government incompetence could ever raise to that level. So I say they're lying. That's what I say. You tell me what you think about the National Institutes on Aging, and I would be curious to see just what they could possibly be thinking about. Let me just kind of search that in the background, and we'll come back to it in just a little bit. And National Institute on Aging, I'm going to just real quickly pull up something from them. Caloric restriction, I'm searching their page right now. Is there a link between caloric restriction and extended life expectancy? Now, I'm going to come back to that in just a little bit. It's going to find me some articles on that. And this is real. This is an ugly website. I do see some program descriptions and everything, but it looks like to me, at first glance, they're trying to bury it because they have these studies lumped in categories, such as category number 1, selected future research directions. Now, this has been researched for over 20 years, over 30 years. And it is talking about ethnic groups, which is not how you would conduct these different research, because if you compared African Americans to European people or Hispanics to European people, you're going to get cultural inputs. And that is not the type of research you would want to see here. So I'm going to skip this for right now. Maybe I will come back to it, or maybe I won't, because it doesn't look like it's going to be too informative. That is National Institutes on Aging. Together, it says differences in study design, composition, baseline health, and feeding protocols also likely contributed to this discrepancy. So those right there off the bat, as soon as I went to the NIA website, I found those very discrepancies right there in my face. Together, these results indicate that caloric restriction does improve health span and can significantly extend lifespan in some non-human primates, particularly under specific conditions with optimized diets. See, one of the things is that the study animals, nematodes, mice, etc., you don't see these cultural differences. They're basically categorized as animals. Their culture is natural to them. So that's the distinction. The most dramatic results, up to 50% lifespans extension, were seen in small primates like the mouse lemur, while results in larger primates like the rhesus monkeys showed improvement, but were less dramatic and depended strongly on study variables. Now let's go into the work. I asked to list all known techniques that people can deliberately engage that contribute positively to autophagy. And it came back with a powerful list. Let's share that right now. Talks about nutritional interventions. Number 1, fasting. Periods of complete or partial food abstention, intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, prolonged fasting, stimulate autophagy by cellular nutrient deprivation. Point: caloric restrictions. Consistently reducing overall caloric intake without malnutrition induces autophagy and is one of the most validated approaches. Now, notice Cardam. You notice how we went to the National Institutes on Aging website, and the first thing it says is that future studies are needed on this. But it says one of the most validated approaches is caloric restriction. Point 3, ketogenic diet. A high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet may enhance autophagy by shifting metabolism toward fat-derived ketones, especially in the brain. And these fat derived ketones are really kind of like magic bullets, even though I do not and will not never subscribe to their quote unquote high fat, low carb diet that's promoted by the meat eating ketogenesis. The meat eating ketogenesis to me are very dangerous because they're dealing with information that's valid, but the source of this fat that they condone us all consuming, the source of the fat is contaminated by the food chain. And the meat eaters are supported also by the very food chain that I say stay away from. I say stay away from dairy. Unless you're a calf, then you can consume dairy until your weight reaches a certain point, and then you wean yourself off of cow's milk. I say stay away from the meat. Don't eat the animals. Let the animals live. Any U5GC, we've talked about that many, many times, that sugar-like molecule in red meat always increases our risk for cancer, always, and inflammation. So stay away from dairy, cheese. I don't even eat fish, fried fish, whatever. No, no, no. No chicken, no fowl, no turkey. It's coming up in a couple of days, Turkey Day. What are you going to be eating on Thanksgiving? The holiday is based upon a grand lie. Let's be clear about that. So could it be possible that the main star of the culinary party that day, the turkey, may also be based upon a big lie? Might be. You might want to consider it. Where else could you get tryptophan, that amino acid that's said to be in high quantities in the turkey that makes you sleep? But maybe it's not the tryptophan making you sleep on the turkey. Maybe it's the craziness going on inside your body as your immune system goes into hyper reaction to that crazy, bizarre meal you are about to eat on Thursday. Who's not going to do it? I'm not going to do it. Somebody wrote me a message. What are you going to do? What are you going to do on Thanksgiving? And I wrote back jokingly, quote, cup of noodles, question mark, end quote. So it was a joke, but your life is not a joke. Your health is not a joke. We got to do what we got to do because we planned to live long. Next, physical activity. Number one, physical activity, regular exercise. Endurance and high intensity interval training, HIIT, are both shown to upregulate autophagy pathways, promoting cellular renewal during recovery phases. HIIT. I got my HIIT in this morning. I first get up, I do a set of exercises that are based upon on the ground floor, or in my case, on a mat. And then I get dressed up and I go outside, and today was a wonderful day. A little bit cold, but that's how you're supposed to exercise. And I did 20 minutes of HIIT. I walk briskly for 90 seconds, and then for the next 30 seconds, I run. I do 10 cycles of that, makes 20 minutes, brings me right back home, about a mile and a half, and I then go into my routine. So yes, HIIT promotes cellular renewal during recovery phases. Point 3, pharmacological and natural compounds. mTOR inhibitors, agents such as rapamycin, which mTOR stands for mechanistic tolerance of rapamycin. AZT8055 and other mTOR inhibitors directly induce autophagy by inhibiting the mTOR pathway, a master regulator of nutrient sensing. And again, I do want to get an idea. Give me a definition. And which website do this one? Give me a definition. Define mTOR pathway. And it is coming up with real quick. The mTOR pathway, or mechanistic, I said tolerance, target of rapamycin. Mechanistic target of rapamycin pathway is a crucial signaling pathway that regulates cell growth, metabolism, and survival in response to various environmental cues, including nutrient availability, and that's fasting, and growth factors, human growth hormone. It consists of two main complexes, mTOR complex 1 and mTOR complex 2. mTOR complex 1 is primarily involved in promoting anabolic processes, such as protein synthesis and lipid synthesis, while mTOR C2 regulates metabolism and cell survival. The pathway indicates, I'm copying this real quickly because this is important, very important information. It says the pathway, bear with me, bullet, okay. It says the pathway integrates signals from nutrients, energy levels, and growth factors, influencing processes like autophagy and cell death. And point number 3, dysregulation of the mTOR pathway is linked to various diseases, including cancer, obesity, and neurodegenerative disorders. And that's all very, very important. That's a very important pathway. So that's a pharmacological and natural compounds. Understanding mTOR is essential for developing therapeutic targets for diseases characterized by excessive cell growth or metabolic dysregulation. Next, it talks about, we're again talking about compounds or pharmacological dealing with this. One more bullet. Let me just do this. I have to format this as I'm going along. Okay, spermidine, a natural polyamine found in wheat germ, soy, and certain aged cheeses, can induce autophagy and is linked with pro-longevity effects. And when we're talking about aged cheeses, we're talking about the fermentation process that they use to age these cheeses. Spermidine, we need to understand that. And it's found in soy and wheat germ, can induce autophagy and link with pro-longevity effects. Next, resveratrol and other polyphenols. Natural plant compounds, such as resveratrol, which is found in the red pigmentation of grapes, curcumin from turmeric, and EECG from green tea, promote autophagy via multiple signaling mechanisms. And I will drink my green tea to that. I love it, love it, love it. It tastes so good. And I know I'm doing my body good with every sip. Metformin, commonly prescribed for type 2 diabetes. Metformin activates AMPK, which can enhance autophagy. AMPK. And then that's another one we need to be closely related. So I'm going to just define AMPK. And that stands for adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase. AMPK, or adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase, is an enzyme that plays a crucial role in regulating energy homeostasis within cells. It acts as a cellular energy sensor, activating glucose and fatty acid uptake and oxidation when energy levels are low. AMPK helps maintain the balance between energy consumption and production making it essential for metabolic health. And that's a pretty good piece of information. I'm going to just real quickly put that into my research for today. And boom, that's what it is all about. If you want to know more about AMPK, let me just real quickly, I'm going to put up a wiki link. I'm not crazy about Wikipedia, but in this case, it's just straight science. So I don't think that Wikipedia is going to mess this up like they do many things that we talk about within the spectrum of our natural health strategies. So I'm going to put this link up for those of you who want to have access to it. Real quickly, put it up on here. That wasn't right. This is right. Bear with me. Okay, and here's the whole thing. Put it up here for those of you doing the research as well, along with me. I hope that I can convince you to do better. What I'm telling you today, this is going to save your life. It's the real deal. It's no joke. I know it could be a little bit technical, but you've been prepared for this for a long time. And I see you in the house for Africa One, my beloved sister. And she writes, I plan to live healthily to 120 years, by which time I'll have enough of the cyborgs. I will have had enough of the cyborgs. I understand completely what you're saying. And she says, do you run on grass or concrete tarmac? I have concerns about the impact of hard surface running on my joints. I run on tarmac. I, like you, do have concern about the impact of running on my joints, which is why I monitor my joints very carefully. And unfortunately, where I'm located, there's not enough grass to run on unless I run across people's lawns, and people don't necessarily, this is not the kind of neighborhood where you run on people's lawns, but I do run on asphalt, tarmac, which is a little bit softer than concrete. I do not run on concrete unless it's just crossing a sidewalk or something like that. But you are very right to be concerned about your joints. I do warm up before going out to run every day, and I'm very proud of the fact that my joints are very good condition. They are good, hydrated, lubricated, and good question. Very good question. Very good comment that you suggest. And all of us should be concerned about the impact of hard surfaces running on our joints as well. Going forward, we did copy, cut, and paste that. Let me make sure I did. That was activated protein kinase. And I did put that into my research document as well. So we're going to go forward. And let me just bold this so it will stand out. Next, thermal stress. Ways of activating autophagy. Thermal stress. Cold exposure. Short bouts of cold exposure, such as cold showers or ice baths, have been shown to induce autophagy by placing mild cellular stress on the body. And I will say this much. I kind of live in a cold environment. It's wintertime now, or it's approaching wintertime, I should say. I live in a cold environment. Right now in the room I'm in, it's probably 65 degrees or below, which is a little cold. But I live that way. And I do not, also in the summertime, I live hot. So allowing your body to adapt to the weather is very, very good for autophagy. It's this thermal stress. Heat exposure. Saunas and other forms of stress heat can also stimulate autophagic processes. So very important. Saunas and other forms of heat stress can also stimulate autophagic processes. So when it's cold out, let your body get cold. When it's hot out, let your body get warm. When it's in the middle, you can do processes which allow you to stimulate one or the other. And I, for one, believe it or not, most days when I'm taking a shower, at the end of my shower, I grab the cold nozzle and turn it until it gets cold. Not the cold nozzle is like one nozzle controls hot and cold. So I turn it towards cold more and more and more until it's to the point where my body goes, and then I do my best to keep it there for at least 10 seconds. And then I turn off the shower and get out. So that's what we do. Thermal stress. Sleep and circadian rhythm. This is getting very important. Please do pay close attention. Sleep and circadian rhythm. Maintaining regular sleep patterns and optimizing circadian rhythms support natural cycles of autophagy, especially overnight during fasting periods, especially overnight during fasting periods. So when you are on a fast, an intermittent fast, if you are restricted eating to where you're getting all of your eating done between noon and 6 p.m., which is my eating time, I'm on the 18-6 cycle, then overnight, the autophagic process is working. It's awesome. It's awesome. Put it into your life. You will never regret it. To help you maintain your weight, help you avoid sarcopenia, which is muscle wasting, help you maintain your joints, your anti-arthritic, anti-inflammation processes. It all works. It all works. And now I'm tuned in not only to the daily circadian rhythm, the monthly circadian rhythm, which is synchronizing to the sun, which women bodies do, synchronizing to the moon or moon cycle, but I'm on an annual circadian rhythm. So I do my detox fast 4 times a year when the sun crosses the meridians, when it crosses the vernal equinox, the summer solstice, the autumn vernal equinox, or the autumn equinox, and the winter solstice. When my body crosses those quadrants, I am in sync with the year. That's it. I wish someone had told me this, come and told me this when I was so much younger. And those of you who are listening to me right now, have you made an attempt to get any younger people involved in this conversation? Let them learn this as soon as they possibly can. Let them live within a lifestyle that they can take it even further. You know, people are being born today that will live in excess of 135 years. That's true. They're in our world today that will live in excess of 135 years. And I'll be honest with you, I'm about to formally extend my self-determined life expectancy. I used to say I was planning on living to 120. I upgraded that plan. Now I will live to be 126. And I am right on the verge, especially after discovering what I'm sharing with you today, of extending this life expectancy, my own life expectancy, a healthy lifespan, to 135. That's a healthy lifespan we're talking about. That means at 120, I am working, I am walking, I'm having fun, playing with the great grandchildren. If there are any, because sperm counts are declining so fast. That's a whole nother day for a whole nother topic. Sleep and circadian rhythm. Other experimental strategies for extending for activating autophagy include certain forms of nutrient manipulation, such as amino acid or glucose restriction, have shown autophagy activation at the cellular level. When we're talking about glucose restriction, get that sugar out of your life. That refined white sugar. I do encourage the consumption of evaporated sugar cane, but insofar as that refined white, that is a drug. That's a narcotic. The refined white flour, get it out, cut it completely. Pastry, pasta, donuts, all that stuff tastes really good, but it is not necessary, and it is not good for sustaining your healthy lifespan. Get it out, cut it out. You can use wild desert honey. It's a good source. Many benefits to it. Don't use so much of it. But get the refined white sugar out of your life. Please, please. Specific gene therapies and research chemicals are in clinical development for autophagy induction, currently experimental. And that would include things like metformin, is still experiment. Metformin is being used off-label by people who are attempting to extend their life expectancy. There are some very positive things associated with metformin, but there are also metformin has significant toxic responses. Let me real quickly look that up. What do we know about metformin? Metformin, quote, autophagy and life extension, as well as are there any known side effects of metformin. There we go. What do we know about metformin, autophagy, and life extension? Are there any known side effects of metformin? And I'm going to pull up the full research response on this. Bear with me. I'm going to go into deep research from Microsoft's Copilot. And that's going to take a second. The second up. Before I get to that one, this is a real good one. This is I'm asking this question of AI. Is there a link between, quote, box breathing, quote unquote, and autophagy? Box breathing. There is limited direct scientific evidence linking box breathing specifically to autophagy in human studies. Most research focuses on box breathing's effects on the autonomic nervous system, where it reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and activates the parasympathetic rest and digest system. Parasympathetic system, rest and digest system. Some recent wellness resources suggest that breathing techniques like box breathing and diaphragmatic breathing may indirectly enhance autophagy due to improved cellular oxygen utilization and stress reduction, which are supportive of autophagic processes. However, well-established triggers for autophagy, such as fasting, calorie restriction, and exercise, induce direct metabolic stress at the cellular level, which is necessary for robust autophagy activation. At present, box breathing is best considered as an adjunct practice that may help create an internal environment conducive to autophagy rather than a primary stimulator. Now, I do daily, at least once a day, many times 2 times a day, or sometimes just all day, I do engage in box breathing. To summarize, box breathing may support health and stress resilience, but there is not yet clear clinical or mechanistic evidence demonstrating that box breathing independently triggers autophagy in the same way as fasting or exercise. These strategies individually and in combination can be applied to boost autophagy, although results may depend on individual health status, genetics, and adherence. Now, what is box breathing? In a nutshell, you're breathing in for a specific number of times. You use your heartbeat as your count. Say breathing in for 5. You hold it at the top for 5, and then you exhale for 5, or you exhale for 5 and hold it at the bottom for 5. Now, I have altered my latest box breathing. I inhale 5 count, hold it 5 count, exhale 10 count, and then for every time I do it, I add a second to that period when my lungs are empty. I begin with 1 second from that period, and then by the time I finish my whole exercise, I'm at 10 seconds. After I've completely exhaled, I'm holding it then for another 10 count. Now, when you're going into that period after that exhalation, the 1 count is not a problem. 2 count, not a problem. 3 count, you're starting to think about it. 4 count, you're thinking about it even more, and you have to have a strategy. I work it up to 10 counts. My lungs are completely empty, and by that point, my stress relief is really quite dramatic. It's wonderful. Have you ever tried box breathing? It does work. Now, we're going to go back to this inquiry that I put up just before taking a break. And we did the Think Deeper inquiry. This is coming from Microsoft's AI. And Microsoft's AI, this is a good long response. It's not too bad. It's called Copilot. Here's what Copilot has to say. And I'm going to go back to my article here in a little bit. So let me real quickly go through the short answer. Metformin is a widely used diabetes drug that activates AMPK, suppresses mTOR signaling, and can stimulate autophagy. Mechanisms linked to improved cellular maintenance and extended lifespan in many animal models. Human evidence is suggested but not definitive, and metformin has known side effects, common GI, gastrointestinal symptoms, possible vitamin B12 deficiency, and rare lactic acidosis that makes medical supervision essential. What metformin does at the cellular level? Metformin lowers hepatic glucose production and improves insulin sensitivity. But its broader interest for aging comes from activation of AMPK, an energy sensor, and downstream effects that inhibit mTOR, a central growth regulator. That AMPK over mTOR shift promotes autophagy, cellular recycling, and improves mitochondrial quality control, which are mechanisms thought to slow aspects of biological aging. And then it goes through different categories. It talks about evidence linking metformin, autophagy, and life extension. Talks about animal studies, cellular and immune studies, and then human data, observational studies. It talks about category, and I'm going to copy this whole thing. These are different categories. It's going to be talking about how metformin affects autophagy real quickly. Mechanistic reviews and experimental papers report that metformin induces autophagy via the AMPK mTOR signaling pathway. It increased mitophagy, selective removal of damaged mitochondria, and can reduce cellular stress and inflammation pathways that plausibly contribute to improved tissue function with age. Known side effects and safety considerations. This is important, very important. If you're considering taking metformin for your diabetes and expecting to get results on longevity, you need to be aware of these side effects. Common nausea, diarrhea, abdominal discomfort, metallic taste, often transient and dose related. Longer term, vitamin B12 deficiency can occur with prolonged use and should be monitored. Rare but serious metformin-associated lactic acidosis is uncommon but potentially life-threatening, and the risk increases with severe kidney impairment, acute illness, dehydration, or conditions causing hypoxia, meaning a deficit of oxygen in your blood. Contraindications and cautions include avoid or dose adjust in significant renal impairment, that's your kidneys, unstable heart failure, or severe liver disease. Discuss drug interactions and pregnancy plans with a clinician. Practical takeaways. Metformin shows promising mechanisms in animal evidence linking it to autophagy and extended health span, but definitive proof of life extension in humans is not yet established. In healthy humans is not yet established. Large trials like TAME aim to answer that question. Do not start metformin for anti-aging purposes without medical evaluation, benefits, risks, dosing, and monitoring, including renal failure and B12 levels, must be individualized. If you're considering metformin for longevity or off-label use, talk with your healthcare provider so they can review your medical history, labs, and the current evidence and arrange appropriate monitoring. I will not be taking metformin for longevity purposes. But I know there are doctors out there who do recommend it. Dr. David Sinclair, who I highly recommend for his research on the link between our genes and longevity, I believe he uses it. And another one, Gary Johnson, the billionaire who is doing all of these radical things to improve his life expectancy. I think he uses metformin as well. I think. I cannot prove that without doing the research. But in the book, Lifespan, Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to, Dr. David Sinclair does talk extensively about using metformin as a life extender pharmacological element. I don't use these things, and there are other research here that talks about these things. What I'm going to do is post this at the end of my article, and this, I didn't get even close to getting through today. We got still 25 minutes or so I can put to today's program, and I want to get to, I had this master list, and let me just kind of go up to this master list. We're talking about, this is very important. What is reported about specific exercises done by Japanese elders and increasing autophagy? Japanese elders are widely known for practicing traditional daily exercise routines, most notably radio taiso and gentle functional movements, which are now being recognized for their potential effects on cellular health, including autophagy. 1. Radio taiso and gentle functional movements. Radio taiso. This is a morning calisthenics routine broadcast nationwide for decades, involving gentle stretching, arm circles, squats, chest and side stretches, forward and back bends, rotational movements, and light jumping, all performed in a 3 to 5 minute sequence. Point. These exercises can be performed standing or seated, making them accessible to virtually all elders, even those in wheelchairs. Point. Consistency and daily practice are emphasized over intensity, helping maintain flexibility, strength, balance, and cardiovascular health into advanced age. And the next point, the horse stance variations and deep squat rests are also prevalent among Japanese elders, helping build core and leg strength safely and sustainably. Very good, very good. 1 second. Just formatting this a little bit, make it easier to read. Exercise and autophagy in aging. Scientific reports and conferences in Japan have highlighted the role of lifestyle interventions, including aerobic exercise and resistance movements typical of radio taiso, in supporting autophagy as part of healthy aging strategies. Next point, regular moderate intensity exercise is specifically recommended for Japanese elders to promote systemic health, and recent research shows exercise reduces the age-related decline in autophagy and helps balance cell repair and apoptosis in older adults. Point, autophagy-based programs for older adults in Japan often integrate diet, supplementation, aerobic exercise like radio taiso, and sleep optimization. Next category, practical impact. Japanese elders practicing these routines display higher mobility, lower rates of falls, reduced chronic pain, and preservation of full joint range of motion into their 80s and older, which is why we are studying this for today. Next point, while not metabolically stressful as HIIT, I think there should be an S on that A, as HIIT or prolonged fasting, these daily routines likely provide mild, repeated triggers for autophagy when combined with proper nutrition and sleep. In summary, Japanese elders' daily exercise traditions, especially radio taiso and functional strength movements, are linked. Let me start this whole thing. In summary, Japanese elders' daily exercise traditions, especially radio taiso and functional strength movements, are linked with improved health span and are recognized in Japan's longevity research for their supportive role in autophagy maintenance in aging populations. So now, this is the heart of what we're doing today, and this is why you stuck through this long. Here's the money. Here's the payoff. In summary, I read that. Make an extensive list, numbered list, of all known strategies for activating autophagy, including nutrition, Japanese exercises, box breathing, and other studied techniques. Because I suspected the list I was going to make was going to eliminate those things. So I said include nutrition, Japanese exercises, box breathing, and other studied techniques. And it gives me an extensive list of 20 components, and it could have been 40 at least. No, there is more than 40 because there's a bunch of different supplements on here. Number 1, intermittent fasting. This is one of the most well-studied and effective methods to activate autophagy. A daily 16-8 intermittent fasting plan, fasting for 16 hours and consuming all meals within an 8-hour window, has been shown to trigger autophagy. Fasting periods of from 12 to 16 hours are sufficient to initiate the process without the risk associated with prolonged fasting. The mechanism involves creating a state where the body has no immediate access to glucose, forcing cells to recycle internal materials for energy. Point 2. Extended fasting and fasting mimicking diets, FMD. Fasting for 24 hours or longer can induce deeper levels of autophagy, although this should only be done under medical supervision, especially for individuals with chronic conditions or metabolic disorders. Professor Walter Longo developed a fast mimicking diet, FMD, that provides around 1,000 calories per day while still triggering the benefits of fasting including autophagy and immune system reset. Now, what I'm going to do is go look for Professor Walter Longo's diet and put that up. And this is getting longer and longer today. Put up Professor site, Professor Longo's fast mimicking diet. And hopefully it will give us components of the diet. Yeah, I'm just going to a general research. And it should come up in a second. Point number 3, ketogenic diet. A low carbohydrate diet. A low carbohydrate, high fat diet that induces a metabolic state called ketosis can promote autophagy by reducing glucose availability and activating the AMPK signaling pathway. This dietary approach has been linked to increased autophagy in animal models and may support brain health and metabolic function. That's very, very good. And it talks about a 5-day nutrition program designed to mimic the effects of fasting. Important notes, and doesn't say it. And I'm going to say I said cite it, but I want to say list it. Copy. List daily Professor Longo's fast mimicking diet. There. Daily components of a fast mimicking diet. I hope somebody else out there is taking advantage of this. Okay, it talked about day 1 macronutrients include foods like nut-based bars, vegetable soups, kale or vegetable crackers, herbal teas, and then supplements. Day 2, deep fasting mimicking phase, and it goes into various soups, nut bars, basically the same thing. Okay, I got it. And we're going to do the best we can to replicate it. Day 2 through 5, so it's all plant-based soups, small nut bars or olives for healthy fats, herbal teas, micronutrient supplements to maintain essential vitamins and minerals, occasional kale crackers or similar low-calorie snacks. Kale crackers. I've never made raw kale crackers. I have kale growing very abundantly in my garden right now, so let me go ahead and do that. So keep going. Number 4, caloric restriction. Reducing daily calorie intake by 20 to 30% has been shown to activate autophagy without requiring prolonged fasting periods. This method mimics the effects of fasting by signaling nutrient scarcity to cells, promoting them to initiate recycling processes. Point 5, low protein diet or protein cycling. Temporarily reducing protein intake, especially to 15 to 20 grams per day on designated days, can trigger autophagy by signaling amino acid scarcity. This strategy, also known as protein fasting, may offer benefits similar to fasting without the full deprivation. Number 6, regular physical exercise. Exercise is a powerful non-fasting method to induce autophagy. Aerobic activities such as running, cycling, and swimming stimulate autophagy in muscles, the heart, liver, brain, and adipose tissue. Resistance training and high-intensity interval training are particularly effective, with research indicating that exercise intensity may be more decisive for muscle autophagy than a fasted state. And that HIIT, I swear by it, it does work. Help you maintain that weight as well. Number 7, high-intensity interval training. Going right there. This form of exercise, which alternates short bursts of energy, of intensive activity with rest periods, has been identified as one of the most effective ways to induce quickly autophagy across multiple tissues. Number 8, nutrient timing and time-restricted eating. Consuming all food within specific time window, example given, 8-hour eating window, activates autophagy without requiring complete fasting. This approach aligns with circadian rhythms and supports metabolic health. Point 9, consumption of polyphenol-rich foods. Certain plant compounds naturally stimulate autophagy. Green tea, rich in EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, is a potent autophagy activator. Other polyphenols found in berries, dark chocolate, turmeric, ginger, and pomegranate also contribute to autophagy activation. Number 10, supplements and natural compounds. Several natural compounds have been studied for their ability to promote autophagy, including the following. Berberine mimics the effect of caloric restriction and activates autophagy. Resveratrol, found in red grapes and red wine, has been linked to autophagy and longevity. Spermidine, found in wheat germ, fermented soy, and mushrooms, supports autophagy. Quercetin, found in apples and onions, is associated with autophagy and cellular longevity. MCT oil may support autophagy through metabolic effects. Number 11, box breathing and mindful practices. Breathing techniques such as diaphragmatic breathing and box breathing can enhance autophagy by improving oxygen utilization and reducing chronic stress. Chronic stress impairs autophagy, while short-term manageable stress enhances it. Regular mindfulness meditation lowers cortisol levels and improves cellular repair processes, indirectly supporting autophagy. Number 12, Japanese exercises. Example given, Tai Chi and Qigong. While not explicitly named in the provided sources, traditional Japanese and Chinese movement practices like Tai Chi and Qigong are forms of mindful physical activity that combine controlled breathing, gentle movement, and mental focus. These practices are known to reduce stress, improve circulation, and may support autophagy through similar mechanisms as other forms of moderate exercise and breath work. Number 13, adequate sleep and restorative rest. Restorative sleep helps maintain cellular balance and supports autophagy by reducing oxidative stress and allowing for cellular repair. Poor sleep quality can suppress autophagy, so prioritizing quality sleep is essential. Number 14, avoiding oxidative stress. Practices that reduce oxidative stress, such as minimizing exposure to environmental toxins, managing chronic stress, and avoiding processed foods, help maintain optimal autophagy function. Number 15, coffee and green tea consumption. Both beverages have been shown to induce autophagy in vivo, with coffee being particularly effective. The polyphenols and caffeine in these drinks contribute to autophagy activation. And let's be clear, this is black coffee. This is not coffee with milk and sugar. No, 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 no. This is black coffee. Number 16, fasting-induced cellular stress. Control. The body responds to mild, controlled stressors, such as those from fasting, exercise, or nutrient restriction, by activating autophagy as a survival mechanism to repair and recycle damaged components. This principle underlies many of the strategies listed above. Number 17, dietary avoidance of refined sugars and ultra-processed foods. A diet low in refined sugars, white flour, and ultra-processed foods prevents the suppression of autophagy and supports metabolic flexibility, which is conducive to autophagy activation. Number 18, the use of exogenous ketones in supplements. For individuals following a ketogenic diet or seeking to enter ketosis quickly, exogenous ketone supplements can accelerate the process, and potentially support autophagy. Number 19, voluntary and forced exercise in animal models. Studies in mice have demonstrated that both voluntary wheel running and forced treadmill exercise, example given 90 minutes at increasing speeds, effectively induce autophagy in multiple organs, including muscle, liver, heart, and brain. These findings support the role of physical activity in autophagy activation across species. And number 20, the most effective approach to activating autophagy involves combining multiple strategies. I'll repeat, the most effective approach to activating autophagy involves combining multiple strategies, such as intermittent fasting, regular exercise, a low sugar, nutrient dense diet, and stress reduction practices to create a holistic, sustainable lifestyle that supports cellular health and longevity. So on that note, we've gone through all of the research that I put together for today. And then I did add some more, such as the information I added on metformin. And just real quickly, I'm just highlight this sentence. And I want to thank you for tuning in. Did you find this to be useful today? Let me just go see who is responding. This is my sister. She's in the house. She says, you got me box breathing. 5, 5, 10, and 10 to 12 under one of my favorite trees in my local park. Phew, what a joy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved sister, for implementing that. I hope others reading your comments will themselves go ahead and commit to what you do, what I do. And I do this multiple times a day. And I want to thank you. And she is talking about 5, 5, 10, that's the exhalation, and then 10 to 12, that's that period underneath the breath where there's no air in the lungs. That's where the stress happens. And that's the stress is going to be activating real directly the autophagy. And that is really wonderful. I'm proud of you, beloved. Absolutely, undeniably proud of you, my sister. And Eddie, I see you in the house. He says, great info. Thank you, Eddie. I knew you would be in the house. And I know you do make good use of this. I want to also remind everybody that I have an upcoming writer's course. The writer's course, we did 2 free previews of it. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to schedule any more free previews, especially with a poor attendance from everybody. I had a number of people register for the free Zoom meeting and then didn't show up. And I was a little bit upset. Oh, I didn't finish reading the commentary on the Rumble for Africa One. I make kale crackers from the stems after making kale chips. And that's awesome. So maybe I'll go ahead and do that. I'll take the kale stems, because I have a bunch of kale in the refrigerator right now. And my garden right now is producing so much kale that if I don't get out there right now and take it back from the bugs are going to eat more of it than me. What do they call them? Aphids? Those things are nasty. They're gross. And I'm going to have to get them off my kale. And I should do that today, because every day that goes by, they're out there having fun. and it just kind of nasty. I have to scrub to get all of those things off of my plants. But I'm going to go ahead and try and make me some kale chips as well. I have a wonderful flax seed recipe for crackers, and I'll just add my kale stems to those as well, and add some leaves. That's good idea. We got everybody in, and Eddie is in the house. Thank you, Eddie, for all you do, for all those who support LAB Radio, top fans. You are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I live because you support, and because of your support, we're able to move forward. Tomorrow, I'm going to be joined by Dr. Amisis Ma'at on Tuesday, the 25th. You don't want to miss that show as we go to honor one of the great ones we're expecting to have him join us, and he has fallen ill and is not expecting to be with us for too much longer. And so we want to make a great record of who this man is and the amazing things he has accomplished. And we will talk briefly about the illness and health and things. I don't want to see him go. But he is a learned master. Truly is a learned master. So he knows himself, and he knows his journey, and he knows that beyond the veil is a glorious place for his soul to live, as far as we know, infinitely, in perpetuity. I'm sure all of this will come up. You may have some questions for the learned master, Umshu. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow on LAB Radio, LAB TV, and livinginblack.com. I encourage each and every one of you, get the books, start your lifestyle. Again, remember what we said earlier, is that the earliest that you start and the more strictly you adhere to your program for activation of autophagy, the more in health span that you can expect to enjoy. So we're going to do the best we can to do all of the things that we know to activate this healthy health span and live long. Thank you for tuning in today to your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com. Thank you for Africa One and Brother Eddie for always being supportive, for being here for your brother. It does mean a lot to me to have you with us. And I know you have a lot of other very strong things that you support. And it is a pleasure, it is a privilege to be among your daily priority. On your favorite, we aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are truly living in black.com. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you. On your favorite, we aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are living in black.com. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you.